So there's now legislation on toys on our agenda, there's legislation on pesticides on the political agenda, and there's legislation on cosmetics on our agenda. And therefore it's very important to hear what experts have to say about all the chemicals that we have in our food, in our toys and in our cosmetics.
Candlelight, you and me, and the bottle of wine, and I'll hold you tonight.
What we are so concerned about is that we see that even very low doses of hazardous substances can cause developmental harm during vulnerable periods of child development, that the results are often irreversible and can be multi-generational. In the German EcoTest, which is a testing organization, they tested that this very nice doll had, for example, a phthalate, which is probably having an endocrine disrupting effect according to its chemical formulation. We have, as consumers, no idea what we are being exposed to, and we are getting to know that, to see that the health effects are extremely grave and serious.
Well, we know I'm going away, and how I wish it was.
The brain is sensitive to stimuli from the environment, including chemicals, because that's what the brain is meant to be. But on top of that, because the brain is such a complex organ, it has to develop from some very immature cells into this extremely complex organ. And all of these processes have to happen at a particular time in a particular sequence. And if that does not happen because of some toxic chemical, then the brain will not have an optimal function. The first shot we had, or the world had, was in Minamata, Japan, when there was a mercury poisoning episode. A company had put mercury in the effluents, and this fishing community was poisoned. And this mother here was actually poisoned herself, but she didn't have any symptoms. There's a particular kind of chemicals that are particularly worrisome, and that's the pesticides. Because pesticides are designed to attack pests that can cause damage in agriculture and by other means. And oftentimes they are toxic to the nervous system of insects. But the insects have very much the same biochemistry that we have in our brains.
The past 10 to 20 years, we have done several studies that all point in the same direction for many types of male reproductive problems, including testicular cancer, which has been rising over the past 50 years, not only in Denmark, but all over the world, actually. At the same time, we have noticed that quite many men, young, apparently healthy men, have poor semen quality. And we have seen a rise in the incidence of congenital malformations in newborn boys. In most cases, we don't know the reasons for infertility. So we really need much more information, and that means research. When we have focused on this and we have more information, and that's the good news, then we can remove the substances that are harmful and responsible for this deterioration in male reproductive health.
The message is quite disturbing. A lot of chemicals are there, and they have an impact, especially for children and the unborn children. And I think it's very important that we take these impacts also in our test methodology, so that we exclude newer toxic substances from our toys, from our cosmetics.